is up? What is up? We are back. Back with the IP 2025 playoff bracket. We listened to you, the voters. It's been a long and tedious process, but we did listen. We interjected nothing of our own spirits within these votes, I'm sure, because trust me, some of these matchups would not have gone the way that they did had we have been able to interject. But we're so glad you guys are back with us. I am jumping right into this because we were very excited to get some of the stuff that we've got for you guys. If you guys are joining us on YouTube, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Go share the news. We are growing. We've got several shows now on the house.
What?
Everybody's doing fun things at the house.
Yeah.
It's buzzing. And we're excited to have more and more of you folks here with us. So if you're not on YouTube, though, go like, comment, go share it with your friends on Instagram and TikTok. We appreciate that as well. And, you know, I'm your podcast host, Marano. Back again with my co-host, my buddy in crime, my producer, Mr. Rob Stark.
A lot of people have been asking me over the last week or two, hey, dude, like who are you pulling for in this IP playoffs? And I'm like, listen, well, my history with the video game squad, I played there for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Had a pretty decently successful career there.
Yeah.
I gotta say I'm going with my my hometown team there. So pulling
Fair.
for the video game squad.
Hey.
You guys keep doing your thing.
Love that. You did finish your career with the Game of Thrones squad, though.
I did.
I
did.
Not as close to your heart.
Not as close. I really my prime was with the video games.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
3-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
I was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year.
Gotcha.
Lost it though.
Oh, to who?
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, I didn't think he was much of a defensive guy, but this year, Gandalf actually, yeah.
Damn.
He's been playing for a long time.
Yeah, wow. He had some tricks back in the day.
Yeah, no, young Gandalf was a problem.
He was moving in different ways.
Young Gandalf. Yeah, I had to guard him in one playoff series. I think it was 2008. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of torched me.
Yeah. I had no answers.
I know, yeah. He gave me a smooth 15-11 every game.
Damn.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it was tough.
It was tough.
Bad beat for me.
All right, enough with the banter. Let's get into the breakdown of what we got into in the first round. Again, we asked you, the people, to vote on these matchups, and you guys were the deliberators of what matchups would win and who would move on to the second round.
They showed out, bro.
They did. You guys did. I'm proud of you guys. Thankful for you guys.
We had 30-something votes on all the matchups. So they really came out, and some series didn't go the way necessarily we wanted, but I think that's the fun in it.
Yeah.
And so now we get to break down everything that happened. So
yeah, it's gonna be really fun. We're not going to rehash all the rosters. Please go check out part 1 on our YouTube channel. Maybe we'll drop it in the link right here. Maybe I can do that in the post-production.
Probably not.
Go check that out to get the full rosters and the full seeding. We're going to jump right into the first round matchups and then talk about what we're looking at for round 2. And again, pass it to you, the people. So let's get into this. All right, so regular season awards, I think we need to mention first and foremost.
Yeah, they were announced. Yeah.
Great lineup of players here. Just an all-star cast, really was. Obviously, like we mentioned before, Optimus Prime is our MVP from this year. Had a just incredible season. Transformers team as a whole, just absolutely blowing people out of the water. Sure. Rode that all the way to a 37-7 record.
Wow,
best in the league.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Just incredible stuff by them, and all around dominance by MVP Optimus.
Yeah, I mean, Optimus is, he's just forced. He's MVP.
He's force of nature.
Right, yeah.
He really is.
I kind of picture, if all right, you put Optimus back in when I was playing, is he going to do the same thing?
Yeah.
And he's just one of those guys, absolutely.
I think he transcends the eras.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that's you think you've got him figured out.
Yeah.
But he's just so unselfish.
He always finds a way to come back. No idea how.
No idea.
But he just figures it out. Just a smart player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I couldn't imagine.
But we also had a promising rookie this year.
He had a good year.
Russell on the DreamWorks team.
Russell had a
great
good year.
pickup by them, late round pickup.
Yeah.
Wasn't really sure if he was going to get drafted.
Yeah, they took him, I think, with their last pick.
Took a risk on that one.
They did.
And
he came up, he played some pretty clutch minutes down, in some of those games, and ultimately, this draft class was kind of weak.
Yeah.
Wasn't the strongest, but hey, that trophy's still going to be on a shelf.
It is going to be on a shelf.
Doesn't matter what that draft class looks like.
Rest of his career, baby. Defensive Player of the Year, Sauron really showed out, edged out the competitors. He just played big in the paint this year. Good for Sauron. Sixth Man of the Year, kind of a surprise on the ballot. Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
He's known for his quick pace.
Oh, moving.
When he wants to get across the half court line, like there's not much stopping it.
No.
So
been clocked.
yeah,
1 second.
yeah, and he was able to give Disney Pixar a lot of good minutes this season.
Yeah.
Really kept them afloat when they didn't seem like they were going to keep afloat. Coach of the year is Lex Luthor, leading the DC Villains.
Yeah.
Back from a terrible loss in round 2 last year to the Justice League.
For sure.
They're going to be a pretty dominant 1 seed in this playoffs. We're going to see how they contribute to that. Maybe they'll make the Justice League again. We'll see. And most improved player, we had Black Panther on the Avengers, just stealing everything.
Oh yeah.
Dyson Daniels this year, man, just rookie rookie finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Just incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Really was. So
those passing lanes were his.
yeah.
And I think it's just that quick leap. He's that first step he's got. It's like, oh yeah, this quick little outlet passes there. No.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah. Not a young player in the league, but he did take that leap this year. So good stuff. And then our all NBA teams, I'm just going to run through them real fast. First team was Bumblebee, Luke Skywalker, Optimus Prime, Superman, and Sauron. All NBA second team was a Robot from the Invincible team, and that hot young team over in the Invincible universe. Rose all the way up to a second seed with the likes of Robot leading the way.
For sure.
Omni-Man really providing some veteran force, just a consistent force in this league. He really is. Spider-Man on the Fantastics team. Wonder Woman, Vader, Chewbacca leading the second team. And then our third team was Batman, Black Panther. And we had a couple of guys that weren't really seen a lot as to be maybe on these teams. But, hey, they had really good years. Showed out. They deserve it. Kratos with the third team All-NBA honors. And then Thor and Wiltz from the Cartoon Network team.
Hey.
Leading them down in the paint, man. They're a sneaky team in this playoffs. We're gonna keep an eye on them. But great all-around rosters for the awards and for the first teams. But we're going to dive right into the playoffs now.
Cool.
We can get right into it. So, round 1, we had a couple really good series. We had a couple not so good series. And we had 2 really big upsets.
Man.
2 really big upsets.
Shaking up the playoffs.
One of them is probably one of the craziest upsets we've ever seen, actually, in these IP playoff history in our universe. So, let's get right in. Do you want to get into the upset first, or do you want to save that for a little bit?
No, let's get right into it. Let's rip the Band-Aid.
Let's talk about how the leading MVP, Optimus Prime, and the Transformers unfortunately pulled a heavy dirk to the We Believe Warriors and the Pixar team and ended up going out in 7 games.
Yeah.
After one of the most promising seasons they've ever put up. Just could not get it done in the first round against a gritty, absolutely just heart-filled, high-intensity team in Disney Pixar. The Monstars came to play, man.
Yeah,
they were giving them work. Buzz and Woody,
it's that
leading
front
the charge,
court,
man.
Or it's that backcourt. Sorry, that backcourt of Buzz and Woody, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the chemistry. I mean, it's almost like last year's Dallas team.
100%.
Right. It's that Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah.
It's all right. Buzz is giving you buckets. All right, now we need to all out stop Buzz. Yeah, but you have also one of the best Robins in the league in Woody, who's now got, ISO one-on-one matchup on the far side, and it's just, that's barbecue chicken.
It was crazy, man. It was too much for them to handle. The guard combination. We thought Bumblebee and Jazz were going to be able to do some stuff on the defensive end. They just got torched all series, and they had no answers for that combo. On top of that, Optimus Prime was kind of a one-man show in this series. He just did not have a lot of help. He had Megatron giving him some help in the paint occasionally for some of the games, but it just wasn't enough to overcome the heart of this Pixar team. It was actually just quite incredible. Mike Wazowski just absolutely out-coaching Primus in this one.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It just does. It's just like that sometimes.
I just want it on record. This is no fault to Optimus Prime. I mean, Optimus for the series was giving them 30, 11, and 7.
Yeah, it's tough. I
I
don't know what else we need him to do.
Yeah, you can't ask more except for putting W's in the in the column. So I mean, that's
they were not
unfortunate.
at all prepared for Elastigirl coming off the bench and being able to guard virtually everybody outside of Optimus. That was a huge thing. And then listen, this Pixar team, they're feisty, man. They had a 6th Man of the Year and the Rookie of the Year coming off the bench along with Elastigirl. That ultimately made the difference. Transformers just couldn't overcome it. They weren't getting enough help off the bench. Ironhide just not giving them much. Sideswipe just not giving them much. It wasn't a good series for them. And after a really promising year, what looked like to be a banner year for them, just fell flat. And we're gonna see how they bounce back next year, because this is an embarrassment. It really is. They got to do better.
No, this is a major L. I'm very curious on what they're gonna do in this offseason. I'm not gonna be surprised if Primus doesn't have a job come next season.
Listen, There's some good coaches in the league.
Yeah, there's some really good coaches out there, and I think just like the versatility of Pixar just really threw them for a loop.
I agree.
You know, what Transformers does, they do it very well, the best in the league.
Yeah.
But I think Pixar was able to just throw too many different looks at them.
Yeah.
Kind of scouted them a little bit, and you know, once it got to Game 7, you know, it's a coin flip, and Pixar squeezed it out. So
yeah, I mean, speaking of Game 7, this series, you know, game by game was crazy. It was much more of a back and forth than I think the Transformers were ready for. They came out, dominated Game 1, really put it to the wheels of the Monstars. But then, listen, the Monstars stole one in Game 2. That changed the whole mood of the series, man.
Home court advantage gone.
Gone. It changed everything for the Transformers, and I think it just mentally got in their head after that point. Especially, you know, you're going into Game 7 on this team that you should be obliterating, that really underperformed in the regular season. And it's down to your last guy, Optimus. He's going out there to get the clutch shot. And listen, their defense just held up, man. Frozone making some clutch plays with the tip off on the last shot of the game to seal it for the Pixar team.
And overtime. That, you know, that's a game that, like, you go back to the locker room and, you know, I mean, we don't have cameras, we don't have mics back there, but I can't imagine that the Transformers locker room after Game 2 was, you know, a spot to be.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't happy at all. I'm sure they weren't happy. So tough loss for them. We'll see how they bounce back next year. But hey, congrats to the Disney Pixar team, man.
Congrats.
Monstars Inc. We're going crazy this series.
Yeah.
And listen, I can't say that they're going to win the chip, but they are a feisty team. And whoever's coming out of this next series better watch out, because they got a handful.
Absolutely.
on their slate.
And I mean, to take out the 1 seed, it's like this. I mean, this team's on the map now.
It's on the map.
You know what I mean? Now that the Transformers are gone, everybody's kind of looking around like, well,
this conference just blew wide open.
Yeah, this is
wide open.
It is for the taking.
It is.
It's there. So
and listen, we got some good teams. Let's head into the next matchup. Who will be facing Disney Pixar? We had the Marvel, the Fantastics, playing against the Lord of the Ring, the Fellowship, if you would. This was a good series ultimately, but ultimately the Fantastics were just too much for the Fellowship.
Yeah.
Just proved a little bit too dominant on the talent scale. Just was able to out execute at most of the turns.
Yeah. Important to note, found this very interesting. Both games, Fellowship won. They won on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, obviously overall great series.
Yeah.
For the Fantastics, but you know, going into round 2, I'm a little worried about you know, that home court advantage that they got there.
They didn't have much answers at home for Sauron, reigning Defensive Player of the Year. He was giving them for this series 28, 12, and 1. So like he was,
I just think the boos were just like he wanted it.
He was feasting off that energy.
Yeah.
And they really struggled in the paint. Even with their fantastic lineup that they've got down there. And they've got 2 bruisers in the Thing and Thanos. But listen, Sauron was just kind of eating them up this series, and that's ultimately what got those 2 games. But listen, like I said, talent overcame execution in this one. So as experienced as the Fellowship were, they just weren't enough for the firepower that the Fantastics had. So
yeah, and listen, as great as Legolas is, one of the best shooters in the league.
100%.
I just think Spider-Man was a little bit too much for him.
It was too much. He was just spraying everything from outside of him. I mean, he gave them 32 in Game 3. I mean, he gave them 26 in Game 4. Gave them another 28 in Game 5. They just couldn't stop Spider-Man.
I mean, Spider-Man was dang near shooting 50% from the field, shooting 40% from 3, and he was shooting 81% from the free throw.
Yeah.
It's just from all 3 levels, he was getting
dominating.
buckets.
He was dominating. They didn't have an answer for it. And on top of that, you got to deal with the bench. As well, which just was no slackers for that Marvel team. They are a deep roller, potentially a sneaky little 4 seed here. But listen, they got some dogs coming off the bench in Wolverine, Deadpool, and Venom that will just hound you the entire time. Anytime you're trying to rest your starters to steal some minutes, good luck against this team. Good luck. It is a battle. So Marvel Fantastics will be facing off against Monstars Inc. in the second round. Excited for that. That's a deep team versus a team with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
So we're going to see really how that goes because, you know, like I said, Marvel really relies on their talent. They really rely on their firepower. But we're going to see if that can stand up against all the...
I don't know. Listen, I think this, when it comes to this next round, it's going to be really important to see how Woody does on Spider-Man. It's very clear that you know, Spider-Man's there. Hey, you know, we need to shift momentum.
Yeah.
Spider-Man go get a bucket.
Yeah.
And he proved, you know, obviously Legolas was on that island and he didn't fare too well. So it's going to be really important.
Woody not known for his defensive game?
Not known for it. So
but, you know,
doesn't bode well.
No. But listen, he is he was super clutch all series long.
But if
so
they
that's
go
kinda what he
bucket,
makes up for it.
but if they go bucket for bucket, we're gonna have to see how that goes.
But they don't want to get into a tight match versus Buzz and Woody. They just don't want to. That's not going to be helpful for them.
that's a very fast.
They're going to want to get some big leads on this team and take care of them quick. Because if you give this Pixar team any light at the end of the tunnel, you might be facing a long series ahead of you, and they don't need that. Especially now with the Western Conference wide open.
Yeah,
Fantastics really have a chance here
for sure.
All right, but listen, they got some two really tough dogs on the other side of the bracket. Star Wars really took care of Game of Thrones in this series. The Galactic Force, again, just ultimately a little bit too much for the Wolves in this matchup. The Wolves just didn't really have a lot of bench. They had a fantastic backcourt in Jon Snow and the Night King. They were spraying everything. Damon giving them some clutch six-man minutes, and he was going crazy in the clutch in general. I mean, he pushed one of the games to overtime with his last second three.
What a shot.
They unfortunately, though, couldn't capitalize on that and finish out the game. They still lost. So it's like,
I know, it's like
didn't have enough.
It's like if they won the series, like that could have been that shot, because I saw it on social media the other day. That shot that Damon hit.
Yeah.
It was over Luke, and I mean, just a fadeaway. It's just picture perfect, and it's like I wanted to frame that in my room.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's always gonna have the asterisk of if they lost the series.
But you're always gonna look at it.
Yeah.
It's like the Minneapolis Miracle, man. I look at it and I see, man, what a great Super Bowl we don't have.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I think every
For
time.
Sure. And so it's just like a great moment that ultimately didn't mean too much.
Yeah. And like I said, outside of those two, the rest of the team just really didn't give them much. Outside of Damon hitting a couple clutch shots, it just was a bunch of empty minutes from them, and they just didn't have enough overall. It just wasn't much of a battle.
Yeah, I was worried about the Mountain and the Hound.
Yeah.
That duo against Chewbacca, but happy to say Chewbacca held his own.
Yeah. They did.
Averaging 12 rebounds, almost 13 rebounds this series. It's like, that duo really just kind of didn't mean too much for for Chewbacca. So listen, Star Wars, the Galactic Force, they're a strong team.
They finished this out in a pretty comfortable 6 games, and so I'm looking forward to see how they take care of this next team, because this next round in round 2 is going to be a doozy, because they are facing the Avengers after taking care of the Power Rangers in 5 games.
Extra rest.
Wasn't close.
No.
Wasn't close. They Power Rangers were able to fight back after going down 3-1 and steal game 4.
Yeah.
So they didn't go out too sad. Tommy had a big game in that game.
I'll tell you this: if you have 4 people in your starting lineup shooting over 50%, bodes pretty well for you.
Pretty hard to lose a series that way.
Especially when one is shooting 50% from 3.
Yeah.
Those are crazy numbers.
Yeah, and the Power Rangers, they tried to counteract that by going big with the Megazord down low. Tried to really rely on him. Just didn't give them much this series, man. Just did not give them much at all.
No, because listen, Megazord is tall.
Yeah.
Little clunky.
100%.
So I think Hulk's just kind of smoother movement, able to get position.
Thor with the help defense too was not helping Megazord at all. They just weren't prepared for that zone.
Yeah, it obviously proved to be too much, and we thought obviously Tommy being the big name on the Power Rangers has been leading that team since the 90s.
Yeah.
It's just we thought he had a little bit more juice in the tank, but I think it's proven that Tommy's. His time might be soon.
Might be soon. Power Rangers team's getting old. Not really sure how much they have left in them.
I mean, next time I'm in that arena, I'm not gonna lie, I might be there for a jersey retirement.
They got that one title back in '93. They really lean on that one.
They do.
Haven't done a lot since, unfortunately.
So a little bit of success in the early 2000s.
Success, but the competitors, just as the competitors and the competition of the league grew, they just couldn't keep up with the talent level that was being pushed
absolutely.
out.
And listen, Tommy's been there since the beginning, and like I said, I don't know how much time he's got left.
Yeah, no idea. And just to go over a couple of the games in this series, Avengers set the tone early, just absolutely blasted them out the building. Game 1, Game 2 wasn't much difference. They blasted them out behind Iron Man, going 7 for 8 from behind the arc. Just absolutely annihilated. It's pretty hard to win when your opponent is shooting that crazy.
Hey, Jarvis, clip that.
Clip that, Jarvis.
I mean, he's not only is he shooting 7 from 8 from deep, he's also talking mad trash.
I'm really interested to see if that keeps up throughout the playoffs. We'll see. He's not been a huge shooter, but you never know, man. Lights get brightest, Iron Man shows out. So it's just going to be a tough team. Like I said, most improved Black Panther. He's just their defensive anchor down there. You'd think it'd be Hulk, But listen, Hulk is there for rage. Hulk is there to bully, but Black Panther, make no mistake, is their defensive anchor on that team. He's going crazy. Yeah, it just wasn't much of a competition. They were able to steal game 4. Tommy led a huge comeback. He had 28 points. And the rest of his team kind of contributed a little bit, but just wasn't enough for game 5. They took care of business, and they're coming off a lot of rest, man, facing a Star Wars team, Galactic Force team. That's going to be a tough battle.
It's going to be tough.
That might be the series of the playoffs.
You also want to keep your eyes on.
Just want to keep your eyes on. Speaking of not series of the playoffs, we had our first sweep go down.
Yep.
The Legion of Doom from the DC universe just absolutely rolled the Royals from the Disney Princess universe.
Hey, listen, and we said that this was going to be a stop.
We were
We were worried it might go the other way.
We were worried if they didn't take care of business early, this might be a long series.
And I think the kind of variable in this that we just didn't know what was going to happen was honestly you guys.
Yeah.
We're very worried.
No idea.
No idea it was going to go.
We had maybe 3 on this list that we were like, this shouldn't go this way.
But it might. And Pixar, you know.
Pixar, you did prove us right.
You proved us right. This one, the right person won.
Yeah, the right person won. I'm proud of you guys.
This roster is actually insane for the DC villains.
Yeah, this was just too powerful. This was an absolute mismatch. The Disney Princess is also just not having a good season, barely squeaking into the playoffs.
Yeah.
After not even finishing above 500. So they're also just really undersized for this matchup.
Super undersized.
Not do them any service at all.
And I mean, we kind of talked about this early in the season when Cinderella went down with that ACL injury and we knew she was out. It's like, that's a lot of their scoring.
It is.
So, I mean, all the credit to them for giving their best effort. They made the playoffs. They squeaked in.
Yeah.
I felt like, who was it that was on the edge of the, the Looney Tunes team? Yeah. I felt like they, because they were healthier, they should have kind of squeaked it, but it came. I think it came down to when they played each other, the Disney Princesses kind of won that game. So unfortunate, but obviously we can look towards next year.
Yeah, didn't have a single player average more than 15 points per game.
That's tough.
If that should tell you all you need to know about how absolutely dominant this Legion of Doom defense is. They're out for a vengeance. They're on a mission. They knew with their eye. They did not overlook this team. They simply just took care of business.
Yeah.
To get on to their next round matchup. They're not playing around this year. DC villains are coming after next, and I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready if you're this next squad, who's a young. I wouldn't even say young. They've been around for a little while. They're a promising, sneaky team that we've been keeping our eye on. When we were going to the playoffs, we had a couple teams we were just keeping in the back of our head. This was one of them because listen. The Super Smash team from the video game universe took care of the House's team from Harry Potter. Was a longer series than anybody expected. Did go 7 games. Was a battle. It was a little back and forth because listen, the House's team, they're no pushovers. They're not gonna go out quietly in the night, especially with the backcourt. I mean, Potter and Voldemort were carrying them this series.
For sure.
But listen, it was enough to really push this Super Smash team to the edge of things. Potter and Voldemort both averaging 20 points. And, that just was enough to at least keep the series alive, keep it interesting. They just trading blows for blows. The entire game, back and forth. They actually stole game 1 on the road.
Yeah,
and that kind of set the tone.
For sure.
Voldemort, they could not stop him in the mid-range.
He's just getting to a spot.
Yeah.
He's just getting to a spot. He felt so comfortable. I just felt like the video game team just didn't do enough to kind of make him throw different looks at him, blitz him all coming off those screens. But, I'm kind of like obviously pulling for video games. I'm screaming at my TV, like,
what are we doing?
What are we doing
here?
We can't just let him just keep coming off this and literally light contest.
Geralt just had no answers for him. It was a mismatch from the start of the series, and they didn't really have many other answers. And then on top of that, he's just hunting Bowser the entire time.
Yeah.
Getting him in actions, and it just...
Yeah, and if ball, Bowser's in drop.
100%.
Bowser's not coming up off that screen.
Yeah. They didn't have many answers for Voldemort. He was kind of cooking them the entire time.
I think the best thing that came out of this series, I was watching, I think it was game 4. One of the, we have such great, announcers, and I think one of my favorite nicknames came out of this series, and I think this specific player has like a really bright future.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was Draco hit a big 3 down the stretch, and they called him Draco Sneaky Sniper Malfoy.
It's great. He's great.
And I was just like, man, I hope that sticks.
Yeah.
Because the future's bright for that young talent. And
The video games were also just not prepared for the amount of energy and the amount of pestilence he would be coming off the bench.
Oh yeah,
he really got under their skin at points in this series. He nearly got Scorpion tossed in Game 4.
Yeah, he did.
It was very close. Scorpion was not having it.
He was not.
Scorpion did make it up later in the series. He had a couple clutch steals at the end of some of these games, but ultimately, too, what made the big difference here is Link coming off the bench as a 6-man. Just really, Potter had no answers.
No
answers.
It's such a different play style from Mario.
100%.
So it's like Harry's guarding Mario, and while that was not working, Link just gives you a completely different pace.
Yeah.
And so, we go from this, Mario more of like he's posting you up at the 3-point line. He's very 60s, right? And then you go to Link, and Link is sitting here going, has he pull?
Yeah.
And you're just, what are we doing here?
I don't got much answer for this.
Yeah.
Oh man, but listen, like I said, this is a back and forth series all the way to Game 7, and honestly, it came down to the last minute. Mario hitting that clutch 3 with 15 seconds left, just to put it over with his 28-point performance.
Yeah.
Just really finished off. And listen, Mario's their MVP. He's the leader of this team, and he showed it this series.
Yeah.
He really did. He came down.
In the
clutch.
NBA, it's often, almost. They say, back whenever someone is trying to discredit back in the 70s, 60s, they say, they're playing a bunch of plumbers. I'll tell you what.
Not this plumber.
This is if the plumbers had a Mount Rushmore, I'll tell you what, Mario's on it.
He's
all
the
right,
goat.
dog.
He's the goat.
He's the goat. He's the Michael Jordan of plumbers.
He is.
Okay.
He is.
So I don't think that's much of a
In
discredit.
fact, I would refrain from using that phrase around him if you're playing against him.
Yes, that would, man.
Not a good tactic. He does this thing where he gets like fiery and he literally just lights up. And from that moment on, like he's got probably a stretch there of a hot streak where he will just flame out from the 3-point line.
The thing about Mario is there's a couple different, they call them power-ups. I would just say kind of like he just could flip a switch. Sometimes you coming out of timeout, you see him sneaking a mushroom in his mouth. And you're like, what's going on? Oh,
Ref,
whoa,
that's got to be.
Whoa.
Let's get him tested.
That's a
Performance enhancing.
Yeah,
Gotta be
it
performance
has to
enhancing.
be. Because then all of a sudden he goes from 5'5" to 6'8", and it's just like,
listen, there's been talks about that in the league and whether they'll change the rules next year. He's definitely towed the line on the performance enhancing drugs this year, so we'll see. But yeah, listen, it was just a lot to overcome at the end of the game, and Potter gave it their best run. This was probably the best matchup from round 1, best series we had in round 1, and ultimately, we saw the video game team come on top. So listen, we got the Smash Bros going up against the Legion of Doom next round. That's going to be another heavy hitter, man. We're going to see if the Smash Bros have enough to overcome just the absolute dominance.
I think they do.
Legion of Doom. Okay,
I believe.
Easy early predictions here. Early predictions here. All right, let's get into the next series. We had the Justice League playing Dream Hoops United from the far, far away. This wasn't expected to be a long series. Unfortunately, I think the league was overlooking this team a little bit. I think they were looking around 2. Honestly, don't even think they were looking around 2. I think they knew who on the other side of the bracket they're going to see in the conference finals, or who they expect to see at least. And they really overlooked this team. It did not do them a service because they almost got beat. They almost got sent home to Cancun. And it was rough out there for the Justice League. I really expected more out of them in this series. This series went 7 games. They did win. But listen, this DreamWorks team was not going quietly.
Yeah.
Not going quietly.
And I think it's crazy is because after game 1, I was like, okay, this is going to be, let's go ahead and end it in 4.
Yeah.
With Superman giving 32 and 12.
Yeah, just an absolute unreal.
I mean, what a performance. Not only him giving 32 and 12, you had Flash giving 20, Batman giving 18, Wonder Woman giving 15. It's just you just had production from everywhere.
And ultimately, they won by 15 points. Like it didn't seem like this series was going to go long.
It didn't seem like Shrek got his, which he usually does,
pretty much.
But outside of that, very minimal production from everybody else. And so I felt like, all right, this is let's
we know
go
what
ahead
this
and
series
rip
is
the
going to be.
Bandit.
Let's get moved on.
And boy, oh boy, was I wrong.
Could not be more wrong.
Could not be more wrong. Hiccup woke up, in the second game. Massive game for Shrek, I believe in game, what was that?
Game 2, he gave him 23 to help steal.
In Game 5, Shrek put up 26 and 11. I mean, he just was refusing to let this series die. So, overall, impressive. Very curious to see what this team, what this DreamWorks team does in the offseason. Maybe adds a few pieces.
I heard there's a promising rookie coming out of the DreamWorks League.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just had a dominant showing in college.
Okay.
Almost won Player of the Year, actually. Wild Robot's coming.
Yeah.
I've heard they've got a lot of talent. So
yeah,
we're going to see because, listen, this DreamWorks team definitely has some older players to probably kick to the curb here. Yeah. Stoic's been playing a long time. Think it might be time to just hang it up.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they've got some holes to fill, man. They just got some bench players that I think need to perform more, and we're gonna see what they can do. But listen, their starters really stepped up. Like Shrek gave him all he had. Hiccup was maneuvering out there, and he was assisting everybody. He was setting up the court perfectly. Poe was giving them some clutch buckets, along with Alex with some good minutes off the bench. So I'm not going to say this was a honestly looking at it, this is a very successful series heading into the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very promising for next year, especially with, I believe Hiccup's got a new movie coming out. So we'll see if that gives them the boost going into year 4 or whatever he's in. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But listen, Justice League, they are heading on to the next round, and they will be facing our second upset of the league.
So sad.
Listen, this is one we had our eyes on. It really was. Because, listen, this Invincible team got off to a hot season. Had an incredible second-year player in Mark Grayson.
Yeah.
Invincible himself. Had an incredible vet who's gotten MVP looks in the past, Omni-Man.
That's father. What a father-son duo that is.
What an absolute second-team All-NBA with Robot. Just going crazy. They just had a really good team, had an incredible season. And listen, Cartoon Network just said, I don't give a fuck. They knew what they were. They're an older team, but listen, they know who they are. Yeah. They know how to execute. They've won their titles in the past.
Chemistry is insane.
They've got probably the most chemistry in the league, I would say.
Oh, I would agree.
And they were taking no prisoners, man. They waltzed right in there and they took care of business. Yeah. In 6 games.
Invincible almost looked like this year's Cleveland.
Yeah.
And it's just such a dominant regular season, and then it just felt like as soon as we get to the playoffs, the wheels fall off.
100%. So yeah, game 1, pretty good. Toons fought back to make it a good game, but ultimately Invincible held their home court advantage there. But as the series kind of just waned, we saw the Cartoon Network team get a little stronger and a little stronger and every little bit of light that they had.
It clicked.
It started to click into place, and listen, it just wasn't going well by the end of it, man. They got game 2 ripped away from them at home, so that immediately it's a 1-1 series. Mm-hmm. If you're an Invincible team, I mean, not the end of the world. It's fine.
Yeah.
Go in, win the next game. They did, but it was close. I think a little closer than they expected. And, number 1 was giving them 20 points.
I'll tell you what, one thing throughout this series that was consistent is number 1 could not guard Robot.
No, but on the offensive end, nobody was guarding number 1 either, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
He was setting up everybody. Robot gave him 30.
Yeah.
30 in game 3.
Yeah.
Gave him 20. I mean, Robot was going crazy this
Robot
series.
was going crazy.
Just absolutely unreal. We expected more out of probably Omni-Man heading into this series, and Robot was really the one carrying the load on the offensive end. And listen, ultimately, like, the Invincible team just didn't have that deep of a bench. And I think that's kind of what killed them.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going up against a Toon squad that has, they got Samurai Jack coming off the bench.
Yeah.
They got a clutch duo in Mordecai and Rigby.
I'm a little disappointed in Omni-Man. I will say, usually when he has a humanoid or a human matchup, it's barbecue chicken.
Yeah.
But that matchup with Ben 10 just really did a number on him.
Yeah.
Because you see this skinny, little tall, lanky white boy, and you're like, oh, this kid, he's about to get destroyed by Omni-Man. 100%. And then you see him just start fidgeting with his wrist. And you're like, hey kid, what are you doing?
What's going on over there?
And he's just no response, just kind of twisting his watch a little bit. Kind of looks like a G-Shock, but you're kind of like, hey, it's ball time is what it is.
100%.
And then he just slaps his wrist, and then you see a guy at 6'9", 4 arms, red, and you're just like, oh. So That's not a performance enhancing drug. I need whatever he's taking. Allen, you got him.
You got him, bro. And yeah, ultimately, it doesn't help when your vet coming off the bench, Conquest, already had a lot of techs this season. And listen, and all it took was a couple flops from Eddie, and it just got him tossed for game 4.
I'll tell you what.
That was huge for the series. That was the turning point where it's like, I don't know if they're going to pull this out. I just don't know.
Yeah, once they lost him for game 4 or 5.
It was for game 5. Yeah.
Once they lost him for game 5, it really, because, I mean, Conquest just gave a lot of energy off the bench. I mean, it's not even just necessarily scoring. Yeah. It was just like he did not allow Cartoon Network to get second chance opportunities.
Yeah. Ultimately, though, he got tossed for game 5, but listen, they were already down 3-1. Wasn't looking promising, but they ended up stealing game 5 in order to push it to game 6, but it just did not matter, man. It just did not matter. They got home in front of that home crowd for game 6, and
energy was crazy.
Energy was crazy. They were looking at second round stuff. Finn and Jake combined for 40. It just wasn't. When Finn and Jake are rolling, it's hard to stop the duo.
Yeah, it is. That's a hard duo to stop.
It's really hard to stop that duo. On top of that, Wilt is just rebounding monster. Pulled down 14 boards.
Come on, son.
Just
one arm.
Unreal
Imagine
stuff.
if he had 2.
You don't want to imagine if he's got 2. So ultimately, the Toon squad is going to be moving on to face the Justice League in round 2.
Wow.
So, man, we got some really good matchups here. Let's go through some of them. So we got in the first round in the West, we got the We Believe Pixar team facing off against the Fantastics. What are your predictions for this round? I'm not going to lie. I'm not. I think the Pixar story's cute. I don't know if they got a chance here.
Yeah, I think Fantastics take this. I don't know, between Spider-Man and Mr. Fantastic, what Pixar does well is their versatility. 100%. And I think that's what got them through Transformers. It's the Fantastics are just as
versatile.
Yeah, they're just as versatile, and they're just the better version.
They are.
So I don't see this going past maybe 5-6 games.
I personally don't see Sully having many answers for Thanos in the paint. I just think that's a massive mismatch for the Pixar team.
For 100%. Sully's whole thing is his presence. It scares the other side, and it's really hard to scare a guy who committed genocide. So
yes, not much to say about that.
So it's like, I just don't know if he's going to be able to get that edge on Thanos.
On top of that, he's got to, if you're not dealing with Thanos, you're dealing with Galactus for, the short period of time that you have to deal with Galactus.
True.
And that's just not going to go well for you.
Yeah,
man.
he eats planets. So it's like,
oh, man.
So I don't really know, Sully. It's just, this is not going to be a good one for you because, I mean, you got a guy who sacrificed his own daughter. Committed genocide on half the world or half the galaxy.
They're just really going to pick on that matchup.
It's catch that in the low post, one dribble inside and dunk.
And listen, love Russell's future. I love his outlook. I can't see what he's doing in this series against a bunch of hardened vets coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Who he's going to have to be competing for minutes.
I mean, we're talking about a team who's been this close.
Yeah.
They've been this close.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just going to be all business.
Yeah, like the DC Villains team, they know what they're after this season.
Yeah, it's no games. You can tell their demeanor. It's not. It's saying it ain't no rainbows and sunshines over here.
We'll see. We'll see how the crowd determines what's going to happen with that one. But listen, they'll be facing the winner in the conference finals of probably the series of the playoffs in Star Wars versus the Avengers, Galactic Force versus the Avengers. Listen, this is just This is a star-studded. I don't know, man. This is a star. I don't know who's coming out this series.
I don't know.
I really don't. They can go bar for bar, each of them. They got somebody. They got an answer for everything you got an answer for. This is going to be a chess match.
For sure.
And I don't even know where to begin with who's going to come out of this series.
I think this one it has to come down to coaching.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down to coaching. I genuinely do not know. And even the coaching, right?
Yeah.
With the Avengers, with Nick Fury, it's just like, he's going to put his guys in the spot for them to be the most successful. It's all about statistics for Nick Fury.
Yeah.
It's all about high percentage shots.
Yeah.
Now, for Star Wars, with Yoda and Palpatine, it's all about feeling.
Yeah.
What are we feeling?
Yeah.
What what
And their
where do we
feelings can
feel-
vary.
It varies.
Fury's got to exploit that. He's got to
He
figure out a
does.
way to exploit that.
And it's just like it's just gonna be a classic battle against logic versus emotion.
Yeah.
And we're really gonna see who's gonna come out on top. I think it's gonna be a really good series. I don't think I'm gonna miss a single game because again, anybody can come out of this one.
I expect 7 out of this one. I expect a 7-game series here. And honestly, it's going to come down to just the final moments and who can make that last shot.
Yeah, or they're
is.
voting. Either one.
One of the two. Next series in the Eastern Conference, the semis. We've got the semis of the Eastern Conference. We've got the Villains coming out against the video game team here.
Tough one.
Like I said, I don't see a world in where the video games can't win this series.
For sure.
I think they have a chance, but that's a tall hill to climb.
Yeah.
I will say though, if they can get past this,
yeah, it's
you're one
Word.
series away from the finals.
Yeah.
That's a
that
different
changes a lot.
That's a different season.
Listen, the Villains annihilated the Princesses. Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot
And
of rest.
that was a lot due to Darkseid and Doomsday.
100%.
That advantage, I do not think you have against the video games. Between
fair enough.
Bowser and Master Chief.
They've got the size to counteract.
They've got the size. So at this point, it's going to come
Unfortunately,
down
too,
to...
I think I'm giving the best player in the series potentially to Mario.
Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
He's been playing the best. The Villains they're a tight group. They all perform.
They do.
They all give you your minutes because Luther is he's scheming.
For sure.
He's scheming open shots.
You've got Bowser and Master Chief,
Mhm.
right? They're going to be battling. I think that between them and Darkseid and Doomsday,
Yeah.
that's even.
Yeah.
Okay? Mario, I think, is one of the most unguardable players in the league.
Yeah.
And, I know Brainiac's got the brains, but this guy's been doing it since creation, dog. Mario's been doing this for a long time. What gives the edge is that I think Kratos, just because he can guard any position,
It's true.
he can go blow for blow with
He can.
literal gods.
There's not a single player on this team he's scared of.
Oh no.
He's going to be your main matchup guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I expect him to start off on Darkseid. But listen, if Doomsday's being a little too brooding down there, he's probably going to have to switch over to calm that down a little bit.
Simmer down.
Unfortunately, though, if he is calming that down, he's also got to deal with General Zod coming off the bench. It's a lot to ask for, but
It
Kratos
is,
can do it.
but
We've
he can
seen
do
him
it.
do it before.
We have seen him. We have seen him kill we have seen him kill a whole. What is it
Pantheon.
called? A pantheon.
Yep, took out the entire Pantheon team last year single-handedly.
Yeah, context. Last year there was a team in the league. They were called the Greek Gods. That team no longer exists.
Yeah, from the Mythology League, I heard.
Yeah, though they came over on an expansion.
Yeah.
And after last year, we actually had to kind of revert back.
They actually got demoted like a soccer league table.
Yeah, they're out.
Yeah, they got demoted.
And that was just Kratos.
Yeah, it was really just credit. They barely trotted out 6 players for that series. It was it wasn't much of a battle. That being said, listen, this video game team still's got a lot of talent, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
We'll see.
Listen, I'm not saying this is gonna be like a smooth sailing, but
No.
with my video games, them being a 4 seed, I'm just saying the Villains shouldn't just be looking towards the conference finals. Okay,
And I think the coaching advantage definitely goes to the DC Villains here. I just don't
Fair.
see the Me Squad out coaching Lex Luthor in this series.
I don't see the Me Squad doing much.
I don't see them do much ever, actually. Now that I think about it.
And yeah, going
One game we actually found them bowling in the back locker room.
Yeah, we did.
Wasn't a good look. Almost cost them their job.
Yeah.
Very close. So that's gonna be an exciting one, but we'll see. It's an uphill battle for Video Game Squad. And then the final matchup of the Eastern Conference, we have the Justice League versus this feisty Cartoon Network squad that all of a sudden looks like they can compete with just about anybody on that side of the bracket.
I may surprise you here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm taking Cartoon Network.
I'm not gonna
Taking
lie.
the Toon Squad here.
If the Justice League are gonna overlook their opponent again, they're going home. They're going home early.
Listen, I'm not gonna say I'm not sure what answer we have for Superman, but
Yeah.
I need this to be noted. Jake the dog is 7'4", stretched and Ben 10 obviously handled Omni-Man. So honestly, if you think about it, Omni-Man being pretty much basically Superman.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get the same result. I don't know.
I guess my thinking with Superman is listen, he's gonna get his.
It's fair.
There's not really much we can do. Let's try and limit the rest of the team. If I am the coach of the Toon squad, if I'm Dexter,
I may be starting to edit.
He's a little bit of a hothead. He's been known to tamper with some things during the games, and we've had to, kind of cool him down a little bit. If I'm Dexter, I'm starting off the series with Jake on Superman.
Yes.
I think you just have to.
Okay.
Like, you have to slow him down a little bit. Wilt might have some issues with Martian Manhunter. He's got the size advantage.
For sure.
He's just not he is not a on the perimeter type center.
And Martian likes to hang out there.
Martian is the best stretch 5 in the league.
For sure.
So that's not going to be a great matchup for Wilt, but I think we can let Wilt handle his own. Honestly, if I'm Dexter, I'm sending in the cook. I'm sending him in. Like, if you just need someone to go in there and rough up Superman,
yeah,
send in the cook.
I'm not saying hack a Shack, but I'm saying foul him hard.
Hard. He goes up, 2 hands.
Yep. Bring him back down.
LeBron, grab him like LeBron.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be making no buckets.
Hey, you get ejected? That's all right.
Good.
That's your job. That's your job, Cook.
Good.
I will say, #1 in Batman, that's gonna be a hell of a matchup.
That's a hell of a matchup. I'm very excited because that's just gonna be a battle of wits.
Oh yeah.
The entire time.
Some would say #1 is essentially Batman.
I have heard that passed around the league.
Yeah. So for them just to be a carbon copy of each other, I'm very curious on how that's gonna play out. I don't know where Finn fits in here.
I don't know either because listen,
this
Flash,
may not
Flash
be the series
was going supernova last series, man.
I don't know if this is a series for Finn, and instead, I'm not gonna lie, I think Samurai Jack might have to start.
With the minutes he was giving, it might be a thing that happens. Don't be surprised.
And it's not because Finn doesn't deserve to be a starter.
Yeah.
I just think this series may not be for him.
Yeah. Something else we were forgetting to mention, aside from Wilt and Jake, obviously, this Cartoon Network squad is vastly undersized against this Justice League team. Justice League team is massive. And this Cartoon Network squad is just
yeah, but what Justice League doesn't have is Ed, and Eddie.
It's fair. They don't have chemistry like Mordecai and Rigby.
Exactly. So now you're picking up what I'm putting down. It's been known that we don't know who we get with Ed, and Eddie. If you can tell them apart, congratulations, because none of our refs can, nor can Dexter.
It's causing a lot of issues on the stat sheets. Actually, we've had to review that in the league internally.
And you never know what's gonna happen because Ed is just a beast down low.
Yeah.
Ed did 2 Ds.
Ed
did 2 Ds. I mean, can give you 16 assists if he plays the whole game.
Yeah, 100%.
0 points, give you 16 assists.
He just runs the second unit.
He just with the I don't know if it's the tism or he could just he just sees the future.
It's just you never know where the passes go. Like you always have to be ready.
He comes off and he passes and you're like, nobody's there.
No.
But
all of a
sudden, the last second, boom, the roll.
All of a sudden Finn is shading the corner roll and it's just like,
and it's just in his pocket. And so we don't get it. But then sometimes you get Eddie and he can't do either of the things that Ed can do.
100%.
But I tell you what, his help side defense taking that charge, I mean, he led the league in charge.
Yeah.
Charge drawn. I mean, the number was higher than I've ever seen.
I mean, he single-handedly got Conquest tossed last series.
So
we'll see, man. This is
it's just I don't know.
I don't like this matchup for a second round matchup on the Justice League.
I know these second round matchups are top seeds. I mean, it is not a walk in the park.
All of a sudden, especially now that you got two just a really good squad over here in the Cartoon Network. So I'm excited for them, man. I'm excited for them. Series predictions for that one? You got a winner?
I got Toons in 5.
5 games? Oh my goodness! I'm not going to disrespect Justice League that much.
I just think this is not very well.
Listen, I'm really pulling for this Cartoon Network squad. If the Toons win this game, I'm picking them all the way. Win this series, I'm picking them all the way.
Okay.
I do think though this Justice League team is just too much for them. I think it's ultimately the longer this series goes, it's just gonna be harder and harder to steal those games and steal those minutes. So I think it's a long one again. I think it's another long series, potentially 7 games again. I just don't think you can go into Justice League's house, Game 7, win that game.
That's fair.
Too much energy against multiple time MVP Superman. So, man, what's your pick for the Super Smash Squad versus the Legion of Doom?
Give me video games in 6.
Yeah, so you're going for double upset in the Western Conference here. Double upset. You're looking at a Super Smash versus.
I'm just listen. I'm reading the writing on the wall.
Fair enough. I'm looking at you. Oh man! And then in the Eastern or the Western Conference, who you got for the Pixar Marvel series? You might have already said it. I've got the Fantastics in 5.
I got Fantastics in 5 as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Star Wars, Galactic Force versus Avengers. Man,
This is hard.
I think ultimately,
I'm gonna take Star Wars. I'll take Star Wars in 7.
that's a fair bet. I'm leaning that way too. Unfortunately, I don't think they're leaning that way.
Okay.
I think the Avengers have a strong fan base that we were unprepared for.
That we have honestly helped cultivate because that is the basis of our podcast.
1,000%. I don't know, man.
That's tough.
I don't have an answer.
Now, I more pick Star Wars. Are we gonna have both Marvels in the conference finals?
I know, and that's like, is
So,
that really what it's going to come down to?
Maybe it is, but I just think that Luke Obi-Wan duo is probably my personal favorite in the league.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we still have potentially an all Marvel conference finals and an all DC conference finals on the table,
That's fair.
barring some upsets.
Yeah.
Which would not be surprising. They have been the dominant forces in the league really since its inception.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tough rounds, man. Tough rounds. But I'm excited. We're going to give this back to you guys, the people.
Yes.
We're excited. Go online. Go on Instagram. Go on TikTok. Vote. Vote for your matchups. Go check out the rosters. We're going to drop a little bit more info on some of them potentially on the socials. But share with your friends, too. Get them in on the voting. Who do you think would win these series? It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it. And, we'll catch y'all in round 2.
Yeah.
We'll see who comes out the other side. We're excited.
Yeah. Got some exciting stuff happening in the pod. We kind of mentioned it earlier. Few things to look out for. Obviously, we're dropping IP playoffs, which you're listening to right now, and we're gonna finish out this playoff run here. We've got Letter Talked, new show just started on the house, 10:55, studio podcast. So we got their show. They're dropping a new episode. WWE still dropping weekly. Money in the Bank just happened. We're building towards Night of Champions. So we got a lot going on over there. Some new people being added to the main roster. Some people, being taken off the main roster. So a lot of changes happening in the WWE. It's been very, very exciting. So make sure you check it all out. And if you're interested in one thing or the other,
100%.
Go ahead and take a look.
Hey, if you like real sports too, we're covering the NBA Finals. It's going on right now.
It is.
Pacers just took a 2-1 lead.
Hey, come on now.
I didn't tell you too. My wife is absolutely pulling for the Pacers. She's a rabid fan for the Pacers this series. Rabid fan. I've never.
You
seen
said they wouldn't
like
win 2 games.
I've been proven very wrong about this series. Very wrong. Definitely was not prepared for, this.
For sure.
So I'm excited to talk about it though, because I'm happy for this Pacers team. They're playing like dogs, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah,
so,
still a lot of series left.
A lot of series left, but we'll be back to cover that as soon as the series is over. Give our thoughts on the matchup and what it means for the future of the league. And then right after that, right after we're finishing up with these IP playoffs, right after finishing up with the finals, we've got Superman on the horizon. It's been a long journey, but Superman is almost here.
It's almost here.
That's crazy, man.
Ironheart comes out before?
Ironheart does. We'll probably drop a little episode on Ironheart after we've watched the entire thing.
Yeah, after it all comes out, we'll drop drop an episode on it. But then Superman and Fantastic Four, and it's just it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be lots of fun around here at the house. It is buzzing. We're glad you guys were able to join us, whether you're joining us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, or whether you're watching us on some clips on Instagram and TikTok. We appreciate you. Get online and vote, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.